Hello, it's my Eurovision 2021 Top 39 countdown, place number 9. It's a United Kingdom, James Newman, Embers. Welcome to Matt Loves Eurovision. Please do click on the subscribe button, click on that notification bell, and like, share, and comment below. So finally we reach the last of the big 5 automatic qualifiers in my countdown. It's the highest placing one, and it is my home country, the United Kingdom. And James Newman was the 2020 selection for the United Kingdom. The UK had done a number of national selection shows, Eurovision You Decide, over a few years, but dropped that for 2020 and announced a collaboration with the global music company BMG. In order to kind of work together on finding the artists and putting together the songs, and in fact the whole thing, in terms of putting together the entry, and that collaboration came up with James Newman with his song last year. Now, with the cancellation, we waited ages to find out whether James would be reselected by the BBC. We only found out quite late on that was happening. I think we kind of assumed it might be. But in fact, James himself had known much earlier than everyone else. In fact, last summer that had been confirmed, but it wasn't announced publicly until then. But I think maybe that was a good idea, sort of allow James and the BMG and the BBC team to get on and concentrate on doing what they wanted to do, rather than kind of a flurry of questions they might have got throughout the year and the build-up then. I know it probably annoyed a lot of Eurovision fans on Twitter, but that was probably more amusing than anything else, how het up they get about no news coming from the BBC, but I think they almost deliberately do it sometimes. So last year, My Last Breath was his song, slightly perhaps unfortunate given the circumstances, but it was a good song, a very British sounding song, quite mid-tempo, very short. It was only about 2 minutes 30. It was shot, I think, in Scotland, but involved Wim Hof, who's the Dutch Iceman, and involves all sorts of plunging into very cold water. And it was an enjoyable song. That would have been interesting to see that stage. Apparently it had some really interesting staging ideas. And I know the UK is not always well known for its modern day staging. But I think that sounded really quite interesting. Anyway, cut to this year. Embers is the song for this year. Now, James promised that he would be putting together a banger. He said it would be something that you could dance around your kitchen to, if not a nightclub, obviously, just yet. And I think with Embers, he certainly delivered that. It is a really up-tempo banging song. It's got that brass sound in it. It's very radio-friendly, very up-tempo, very British sounding, I think, and pretty modern. It's the sort of song I think you can imagine sort of playing over during segments on shows like Love Island. And I don't mean that as a negative way. I think actually that shows, it's a very youthful song. It can connect with that audience. And lest we forget, actually, Eurovision does have a really big youthful audience. It's not all people my age by any stretch of the imagination. So James himself is he's a lovely guy. He comes across so well on Instagrams and all his Instagram stories and Twitter and engaging with the fans. He's a Yorkshireman through and through. He loves his tea, loves his cooking. But actually, he is a really pedigree singer-songwriter. I know some fans or some people in the fandom have kind of queried about whether he'd be any good live, etc. He is an experienced professional. He's done plenty of live singing. He's a good live singer, and also he has got a lot of songwriting experience. He's written for people like Calvin Harris, also for Rudimental, Armin van Buuren. In fact, he's won a Brit Award for his work with Rudimental. So there is a lot of pedigree there, and I think that's probably born out of that, that relationship the BBC has built with BMG, which is going to run for perhaps the next 2 or 3 years, in having someone with that kind of pedigree. He's also been getting on famously with all the other Eurovision artists, even with the constraints of the pandemic. It'll be nice, hopefully, he'll be able to get to interact with some of them once he's in Rotterdam, which at the time of the recording will be imminently, because the rehearsals have now started. Coming from the UK, you always get, particularly if they know that you're a Eurovision fan, my friends, colleagues, etc. will always say, "Oh, what's our song like this year? Oh, will we win? Oh no, we're not going to win, are we?" As though that is the only thing that matters. Although that is just such a simple equation as that. Now, frankly, I will not expect the UK to win this year, and that's not. I don't think that's a bad thing to say. I think it's about putting something credible that we enjoy, and I think reaction to Embers has been really strong within the UK, which I think is important. But I think in terms of expectations, I think we've got to remember that you can have a really likeable song, which is what Embers is, but it might not score that well, because of the way that the Eurovision scoring works, and juries-wise, you've got to be ranked in the top 10 by all of the jurors within a country in order to secure some points. And from the televote, you could finish 11th in the televote of every single country, which would be a pretty good result considering there's 26 songs, and you still wouldn't get a single point. So the scoring system can sometimes punish likeable, good songs, and I suppose that's the only thing that I would say about this, is that it's a lot of fun. Maybe it's still a little bit safe, playing it a little bit safe. Maybe we need, maybe something that was a little bit more risky might guarantee a higher result. But I think in the end, we have got an artist and a song that we can be proud of, and it's going to be a great floor for the Eurovision events for years to come. So however it does, I wish James and Embers all the very best, and we will enjoy.